paper. Australia's tourism industry has felt the full force and devastation of the coronavirus. Many had already faced the pain of the bushfires, and the double whammy of those two things, or even for many businesses, the coronavirus alone, means there are many businesses that will never truly recover. There have been livelihoods ruined, and those that do survive will take many, many years to get back to what they knew as normal. Definitely when it comes to the tourism industry, there will be no snapback. The Australian tourism sector generates $61 billion a year of GDP prior to the virus. That's 300,000 businesses, more than 1 million people employed directly and indirectly. 1 in 12 people in Australia owe their jobs to the tourism sector. In my home state of Western Australia, the some 25,000 tourism businesses generating more than $10 billion for the economy, supporting more than 100,000 jobs. In my electorate alone, 4,970 people are directly employed by tourism. But the WA Tourism Council tells me that their survey shows that some 55% of these staff have ceased working since the coronavirus hit us. From some of our biggest hotels, such as the Pan Pacific, to boutique retailers like Kirikin, who rely on international tourists to purchase their beautiful Indigenous clothing. This sector has felt a whack. Sadly, that pain is not over. There are some businesses that will not make it till Christmas. That's what they've told me when I've done, as the member for Wentworth said, as I've gone around and talked to businesses in my electorate. They say that this is tough and they need as much certainty as soon as possible. They know because they've sold this country to the world. Australia is the best place in the world. It's a place that we can't share with the rest of the world at the moment, but over time we'll once again want Australia to be that high aspiration destination for international travellers. We don't know if it will be 1 year or years until that tourism market reopens. But whenever it does, let's make sure that we are well and truly the place that is at the top of everyone's must-visit list as we wait for those international borders to reopen. And again, who knows exactly how long that will be. Let's build some of the things that tourists want to see. Let's make sure we build light rail in Perth. Let's keep the progress going on high-speed rail on the East Coast. Let's look at what other attractions we might need to make this a truly family-friendly destination. I'm a big fan of building a Marvel world here in Australia, but there's a whole bunch of other more pressing issues that Infrastructure Australia have also identified, including, there's a lot of sense, a lot of common sense in the Marvel universe. I'm sure it could help the coalition from time to time, such as what Infrastructure Australia have identified as a national infrastructure priority, being a National Centre of Indigenous Culture and History. We can progress these things so that when people do come to Australia again, they are once again wowed by the engineering, ingenuity and friendliness of the Australian people. In the meantime, many of us are holidaying at home. Myself, Jess, Leo packed the Mazda 5 in July, went to Yallingup for a week, long walks, visited Sunflowers Animal Farm, visited a few wineries in the Margaret River region. Hundreds of thousands of Australians are holidaying at home right now, and it is providing essential support to our tourism sector because they can't survive without that domestic market right now. But there are some sectors of that tourism industry that are hurting more than others. I too have met with a number of tourism and travel agency businesses in my electorate of Perth. The feedback I get universally is they want certainty and they want the federal government to properly realise that they are a unique sector in terms of the crisis our country currently faces. We haven't seen any additional funding to the tourism sector since March. And indeed, one travel agent wrote to me and sort of just wanted to put it in really clear terms. Terrell said, "We're not like coffee shops, restaurants and pubs where we could, quote, reinvent ourselves and start selling takeaway or clothing stores that could switch to online sales in the interim. As they sell travel, and with planes grounded and borders closed internationally, they remain at a standstill." There have been some glimmers of light. I commend WA Premier Mark McGowan on his $14.4 million package of direct support for tourism businesses and $150 million of investment in infrastructure for WA's tourism industry. They need our support now, and they're going to need it for a long time to come. Thank you.
Thank you.